Welcome to the Sellernomics Podcast. In today's special episode, we are going to share some great tools and software available to Amazon sellers. Special thanks to our sponsor, Getida. Did you know you can get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics? Now it is time to show us what you got with your host, Rob Stanley.
Hey everyone, welcome to another great episode of Sellernomics. Show us what you got. We got an amazing one today. Met the ProductPinion guys for a long time ago, not too long ago, but a while back. Got to be on a cruise with them. Saw some really cool stuff that they were showing me about what their tool can do and their software can do. So what we're going to be talking about today, just to give everybody a little heads up, is how to convert like crazy with ProductPinion and on Amazon, obviously. So let's go ahead and bring Andri and Matt into the studio. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, doing great. You guys showed me some great stuff when we were on the online seller cruise a few months back, and definitely wanted to get you in on the show and have you show us what you got, basically, and show us ProductPinion and maybe what it does and how it works. So, Matt, I think we're starting with you. So why don't you go ahead and let's time to show us what you got.
Yeah, totally. So, just before we get started, I wanted to mention about, what the typical way that people do testing. So a lot of times people jump into doing these polls or split testing, but they don't necessarily have a good idea of like what's worth their effort to test. And they've never talked to, shoppers, never interviewed them before, or actually even, talked to their own customers. And the reason why is because this kind of, research is really expensive, right? So for example, before ProductPinion, I was paying a software company, usertesting.com, $50 a shot to interview shoppers, to look at my listing and to kind of give me feedback on, what was good, what was bad, how can I improve it, with the ultimate goal being to, make more money, improve my conversions. And another cool statistic is the Fortune 500 spent over $2 billion on this type of qualitative user research. So as small businesses, on Amazon, how can we compete, right? Like how can we get those consumer insights as well, so that we can take out the big guys when we're selling and competing on Amazon as well. And that was kind of the inspiration behind creating ProductPinion. So basically, consumer insights that make it super easy for everyone to use. Now, this is where Pinion videos actually come in. So what we allow you to do is let customers shop as they answer your questions out loud. And you can use them for a whole bunch of different things. One, you can watch people shop in your specific category. So if you do this just for 10 shoppers, you're going to know that category better than any of your other competitors. You can even have shoppers critique your own listing, and you can basically read their mind, understanding their buying objections, so that your listing will convert a heck of a lot better. And another thing you can do is actually send it to your competitors, see how see why people are buying your competitors, and get some ideas of what you can do to do better as well. So just before showing you how to actually do this inside of ProductPinion could potentially be as well. So in this, going through a product, the product is an eyelash cleanser. And for context, our brand is the one that's won sponsored brands up top, and also has the sponsored product in the middle. And basically, we asked them to go over the search result of eyelash cleansers, and which ones are interesting to you, that sort of thing, and let us know all about it. So I'm going to play this video, a small clip, and you'll get to hear the shopper actually think out loud while they're answering these questions.
Product would you click on? Why? Ooh, this one. Avinova. Avnova. Avino Nova. That splashy water does make a difference, but that label on the bottle looks really scammy. I've actually purchased this OcuSoft before, so I might actually click on that because I've used it. I purchased it from my optometrist. I know it works. I was pleasantly happy with it. I was satisfied. Might also click on that We Love Eyes. It looks a little bare, but it also, mentions in the label or the title, vegan, natural, cruelty free.
So some cool takeaways from that are like, number one, our brand Hydrate was completely invisible to her. She even though we had 4 product spots there, sponsored brands right up at top, we had sponsored products right in the middle, didn't even care to look at us. So there's something wrong, right? We just diagnosed a big problem, why we aren't getting clicks. The other interesting things that she mentioned, the splashy water of the competitor's product looked kind of interesting. So it's like, hey, maybe I should have some splashy water too, or do something a little bit different to stand out. And the other thing that she said that was interesting was they noticed the We Love Eyes brand because it said vegan and cruelty free in the title. Here's the interesting thing. If you're just relying on, keyword software to figure out keywords for your title, for, that sort of thing, obviously super important. You got to do that. But if you're not actually watching how people shop and seeing that vegan and cruelty free set off an attraction to her head where she's like, hey, I'm going to check out that one because it mentions those, you would not have noticed and not have known that through just traditional keyword software. So you can see how important this type of consumer insights can be. I'm also going to share in 1 second another example that I'd love to show as well. Let me get that.
Matt, it was really funny. One of the things she mentioned too, she said that other label looks scammy. I was like, and you know what? It caught my attention. I looked at it after she said it, and it's so plain. It's like almost like somebody printed it at a doctor's office with just standard text on it or something like that. Exactly. And I was like, that really caught my attention when she said that. I was like, wow.
You're right, Rob. That's the kind of feedback you can't really get in any other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't be afraid for someone to insult your baby. So I feel like as a brand creator, you have to have that thick skin. So we'll have some people that are like, oh, all this feedback was like negative and that sort of thing. And that's a good thing. You almost want the negative feedback because then you know what to fix, right? So you kind of have to have that thick skin and let people insult your baby. It's okay.
Absolutely. Just use that and fix the issues on the next version or something for sure. All right. Tell us what we got coming up next.
Yeah. So let's load up the next example here. So in this scenario, instead of doing a search result, so we're looking at all the competitors, this is our own listing. So we have a shopper checking out our own listing. And basically we ask questions about like, how can we improve it? Like what's wrong? Like that sort of thing. I want to hear basically, what are the ideas from shoppers to actually make the listing better? So let's do that.
It also needs to show if this would work for people of color in different types of hair, and if it would work for African American hair, then there should also be a model here with African American hair. I do like the fact that it has this band across the top that looks like that makes more sense than that old crinkly thing like this, where it's showing other shower caps. And it says, how could this product be made better? What might stop someone from buying this? Yeah, I think I'm addressing that already. I think that having it be reversible, I don't know if that's necessary unless that helps for having it dry out. Having it dry quicker. If you use it, then you can turn it inside out where it can no, you turn inside out, the wet side will be on the inside. That doesn't make any sense. I don't really care that it's reversible unless there's a reason for it. It seems like you have just one pattern.
Okay, so with that one, some of the there's a few takeaways as well. So for example, number one, right off the bat, diversity in the listing, it wasn't a really diverse listing, and she pointed that out like immediately. And interestingly enough, she wasn't the only person that pointed these out. Yeah. But, as a brand owner, we develop the blinders, right? We just do what we got to do, and we don't necessarily notice these other things. But the most important thing that she mentioned in that video was that she doesn't understand why it's reversible.
She's confused.
She is confused, and everyone knows a confused mind never buys. So the interesting aspect of that video was, taking that information, and again, there was a lot of other shoppers that said similar things. We basically were able to redo that infographic to make it very clear that the reason why it's reversible is for leave-in treatments where you want extra gel or whatever it is that women like to do for their hair to make it soft, silky, that sort of thing. And changing that infographic around, so eliminating that confusion, dramatically increased conversions right off the gate. So that's awesome. Very, very cool example that you can get with consumer insights.
So just like Matt said, we rely on these videos to collect some stats on what's the most commonly pointed out issue is, and then you have ideas to split test. Otherwise, you don't really know what's wrong with the listing before you hear that unfiltered feedback.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, she mentioned different hairs, right? 3 of us on here, we all have 3 have different hair. Me have no hair, right? But still, it's a great point. She brought up a great point. And I think you were right, Matt. Like, even just pulling out the reversible, people already know a shower cap, you're going to reverse it, a bag. I mean, there's a lot of things you can reverse to clean or dry, right? I mean, that's kind of just a built-in automatic thing, in my opinion. So removing that confusion on why it's reversible or just taking out completely, definitely, it's got to help that listing. So very cool. All right, Matt, give us a little heads up on what we got coming up next.
Yeah, so next part, we're going to show you how easy it is to actually set up a Pinion video inside the app. So all you do, go to Pinion Videos, go to New Test, and in this case, we'll start new. So what are you hoping to learn? So on your first page of setup, everything's internal. So this is just to keep things better organized, because once you have a bunch of products and brands, you want to make sure it's really easy to refer to these tests later. So what are you hoping to learn is basically just that, an internal note, what you're hoping to learn, and product or category name. Some people put their ASIN in there, but you can put just your product name to just, be able to differentiate it later. The other cool thing that you can do is start with a template. So we give you some pre-filled questions that you can ask shoppers. You don't have to use them, and you can change them as you see fit. But to get you started, we want you to just have something to run with. So for example, say we wanted to figure out why people weren't buying our listing. Maybe you want to try the objection test. So again, all that does is pre-fill the questions. So on the next page here, we give the shopper some context. So pretend, I'm the brand owner of the hair caps. I'm trying to understand why people wouldn't buy my product, that sort of thing. Pop in the URL for where you want people to go. So in this case, we want to send them to our own listing. But keep in mind, you can also do any URL. So if you have your Shopify site, you want people to look at it and see if you can increase conversions there, you can do that. What some other people will do is, even if they don't have a listing on Amazon yet, they'll share a Google Drive or Dropbox public link that has, drawings of the prototype. And you can ask people like, hey, what do you think of this? Do you see any issues? Are there any flaws? Because again, when you're working on that product yourself, you have those blinders, and it's much more difficult for you to see what might be wrong unless, someone getting another set of eyes on it might be able to spot those for you. So you can see here, we have these pre-done questions. One of my favorites is, do you trust the brand? Why or why not? This is the one where people will go into detail. They'll be like, I don't trust it because it looks scammy because of this, X, Y, Z. And it really gives you some insight onto what you could be doing better. So next stage is just that. You can launch as many as you want. So if you're just doing it for the first time, you're looking at a category, asking 10 shoppers is a really good place to start. You pick your demographics, you're off to the races, and you're good to go to submit it and get those results back in. So the other interesting part is, when you're doing this qualitative stuff on the videos, it then kind of leads you to figuring out what you should be testing on the quantitative side. So for example, when we go back to that video with the eyelash cleanser, they talked about packaging, right? So the packaging was really important. So maybe I should run a poll about, can I do better packaging? Can I show how the packaging might be improved? How can I make the main image stand out more? So she talked about, putting a splash of water in there to kind of stand out. So that's something else I should be testing. Or maybe even putting the words, cruelty-free and vegan into the title to stand out. So to do those quantitative tests, we have something called Pinion polls. And Pinion polls are just that. People can choose options and tell you exactly which ones they think are better. So for example, the other interesting part with Pinion polls is we have a few different types. So for example, we have the traditional image split test. This is what most people think of when they think of polling. It's basically just, image versus image. And when you do that, you can actually test almost anything. So for example, if Rob wanted to grow a beard out even more, and he wanted to test a few different styles, he could ask shoppers which one they thought was better. And in this case, there's two slightly different ones. There's one that's a little bit more wild, a little bit more groomed, and then you get results. You put this up, you ask shoppers, hey, which image would you like? And with 99% certainty, most people like the cleaner, kind of more well-groomed look than the wild and a little bit more adventurous look, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now let's see if Rob adopts this improvement.
So that's one, fun example, but obviously you can use it for other things too. So in this case, one of the ones that we wanted to test was, they completely missed our product. And I think one of the main reasons why it was missed when we were doing that Pinion video is because of the really light packaging, right? And it really blends in on the back of, Amazon's background is white. So if you have a white package, it's hard to stand out. So anytime we make a recommendation for when you're doing packaging is to actually make it kind of a darker, solid color as much as possible. And it turns out that that'll get you standing out significantly more than a lot of the other ones on there. So that was just a simple test. Here with the statistical significance, it's only 80% certain. So it's not like a clear win, but it's enough that it would point you in the right direction that, yeah, we should probably look at doing better, darker packaging for the reasons of it, being able to stand out. So when we go back into the different types of polls, so that's like a basic image split test, right? We also have text. So with text, it's just that you can test brand names. You could even test like title names on it if you wanted to. We also have a stacked image test. Stacked image test is basically taking your galleries. So for example, if you wanted to do 7 of your Amazon images versus a new 7 and compare which ones are more preferred and why, you can do that. But the one that I really, really love and the one that's like near and dear to our hearts is search simulation. And with search simulation, you can basically control almost every single variable when you're testing on Amazon. So I'll show you what that looks like here. So essentially, once you hit search simulation, you put, again, same like the setup with Pinion videos, internal setup, what are you hoping to learn? So in this case, it's, what image is the best on Amazon? Product or category name, again, keep it for organization. And what you can do is pop in your ASIN there, and basically it'll grab the data from Amazon and it'll actually pull the product. So this was a live pull for this particular ASIN. And just so you know too, you can also change all options of what appears to the end user. So you can control the star rating, the reviews, the price, show the Prime badge, add to cart, even hide the header and sidebar if you want. That was a request from a customer, so we did that. And something else interesting, we have a mobile device display too, and we're the first in the industry to let you test on mobile. So in this particular test, there's many ways to use this. In this particular test, I want to see if I can improve my main image. So I just pulled in this, from Amazon live. I'm going to duplicate it. So just hit the duplicate button. Now I'm going to go in and change the image to my, my image that I think will do better. I'm going to hit save. And then now when I'm doing a test, so now shoppers will see this test in context of what looks like to be Amazon. So your results are going to be better. And it's very clear here that, everything else is the same, except now we're just testing, we're isolated for the main image. So a very cool way to test your main image. So not just random image versus random image in a vacuum, you're actually testing on the platform. The other cool thing you can do with this is, say, for example, you're not on Amazon yet, or you're launching a new product, you can actually manually add a product and then import a bunch of your competitors. So you can actually see if this particular product, the idea that you have for the main image, for the headline, whatever it is, you can see if you're even in contention for getting the clicks based on your competitors. So super powerful way to validate even before you're on Amazon as well. Another cool feature that we did, and you're able to test, like we have all the badges as well that Amazon has. You can actually see if getting those badges will affect your clicks. There's sale badges, there's top badges. Another really interesting one is the climate friendly badge. So in this case, you can upload your product, put the climate friendly badge, put your competitors on there as well, and see if the climate pledge friendly actually gets you more clicks. Because getting that badge can be expensive. This is a way to kind of validate if it's worth to actually get that get that badge on your listing. So the other point that I wanted to make with all this is that even though this is an example, it's actually a real life case study. So this is a product that sells relatively well. And after we ran a whole bunch of split tests, a whole bunch of these Pinion video tests, this is what Travis had to say. He said, the split testing we ran in ProductPinion showed how much my branding was lacking and how a simple tweak to my labels would double my click-through rate to my Amazon listings. So there you go. Doing the consumer insights gets you double, in some cases, double the clicks right to your existing products.
Mind you, Travis is a PPC guy. He's very much numbers driven.
Yeah. But still, I mean, even the average person selling on Amazon could utilize this to get feedback and make adjustments to their listing, to their product. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can go with this. So, absolutely. Matt, anything else we got?
Yeah, so real quick, another cool feature that we have is called Pinion Ask. So with Pinion Ask, you don't have to actually get people to select an option. You can kind of just build a survey. So if you've ever done Google surveys, it's just like that, but even better because now you can get your answers filled as well too. So you can do cool things like, short answer, multiple choice, check boxes, but even something like price. And the other interesting part is you can ask multiple questions on the same survey. So you can ask as many questions as you want, and you can, get answers. And just to show you what that looks like. So for example, here, investigating if I want to sell these Riverstone tables, I'm getting a whole bunch of, free form answers about if it's a good idea or not, what kind of material. So for example, here, do you want concrete, resin, fiberglass, that sort of thing. And then also the price is interesting. So obviously price is a little tricky because, people can say, I'll pay $1 million for it. And it doesn't mean much unless they're actually putting money down. But, I'm getting a ballpark of about $200 for this coffee table. That actually gives me some validation that there's margin there. And then also like, hey, what kind of colors would you like? So people use Pinion Ask for, basically validating the product ideas, seeing which bundles to make, that sort of thing. And one other cool feature that you can do with us is you can actually ask your audience audience for free. So it doesn't cost you anything extra. You can literally say, hey, I want to have a public link. So for example, this is just a public link. You can send this out via email, social media, wherever, and get the opinions of your own audience. And this is super powerful because it builds that brand loyalty. People feel more involved with the brand. And then on top of that, I'll show you something really cool, really quick. You can actually make money with your polls as well. Because after you do that submission, you're able to actually take them to a URL and say, hey, thanks for doing the poll. Here, click here to save 20% on Amazon. And you're able to, get people rewarded for actually taking the poll and make money for the poll. So you got those consumer insights, and now you got some money in your pocket as well. So I think that is it.
That's really cool. Very cool. That's really cool. I wasn't even aware of that feature because I'm thinking to myself, if I have a group, say it's camping or something like that, and I'm in this Facebook group with a bunch of camping people that I'm a part of, I could be like, hey, I got this new product coming out, or hey, it's already on Amazon, but I could love to get some feedback, and then, get some feedback. And if it's good enough feedback, I could also be like, hey, here you go. Here's a code. Here's a link if you want to go buy it, and share it within your group. So that's a super cool
No,
feature.
absolutely. I can testify that this approach works. I've done that with my previous brand that I exited, where people would design the product with me. And once it goes live, I offer them 10% discount. I didn't need any ranking tools whatsoever to launch with a BAM. And I do the same with children's books now. I get parents' opinions, and then we optimize it for the way they recommend. And when we launch, everybody wants a piece of that winning product. So
that's
definitely
awesome. Very cool, guys. Why don't you tell everybody where they can go to basically find out more information about ProductPinion?
No, absolutely. Yeah, you should go to ProductPinion.com. There's a free trial, easy to sign up, 7 days. You can test it. And you can also reach out to us with any questions. We're happy to jump on a call, guide you through your first campaigns, and let you maximize the use of this tool.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, if you're looking to get a hold of Andre or Matt, it's Andre at ProductPinion.com, or go ahead and hit up Matt at ProductPinion.com. And once again, if you want to get that free trial and get started, just send an email over to freetrial@ProductPinion.com. Be sure to mention that you saw him on the Sellernomics podcast, or Show Us What You Got, or with Rob the Money Man. One of those will work. They know who I am. So definitely hit them up if you want to get that free trial and get going with them. Guys, great information, super cool videos, and man, just so much you could do with your tool and your software and stuff. So any last words, Matt or Andre, on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's even more. So what we like to do with the tool is make it super easy to get up and going and started. But you'll notice once you start using it, there's a whole bunch of other things where you can fine tune. So yeah, we work for brands everywhere from just getting started, trying to validate the idea, to $100 million brands that you would see in the big box stores. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, please be sure to go over and check out ProductPinion and take a look at their website, get signed up for that free trial. And guys, thank you so much for coming on and showing us what you got. And everybody else out there, please give us that thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics Podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, Getida. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.